What's going on? Welcome to View the Right Thing, and there have been 41 players drafted from high school straight into the NBA. 30 of those guys never made an All-Star or All-NBA team, 10 players have, and one is Kwame Brown. Some have won championships, but for the most part, the individual accomplishments are spotty. Some years, you draft one of these guys and you just miss. That is, unless those years are between 1995 and 97, because then you basically couldn't. Each of these years saw a career that went from high school straight to the Hall of Fame. Kevin Garnett punched the big ticket first, and when Kobe Mamba ended the next season, folks were stoked for the back-to-back. But Toronto Raptors made it a three-peat when they drafted Tracy McGrady the very next year. The futuristic guard was the bridge between the hero ball of the 90s and the running gunners to come. Kobe Bryant said the guy had no weaknesses in his game and was the hardest player he ever had to guard. So yeah, T-Mac was good, but for some reason, he's left out when folks list the greats. So we're going through his career to answer one question: just how good was Tracy McGrady? After being drafted, McGrady wasn't an immediate star like his future teammate and cousin Vince Carter. T-Mac had to work his way up the Raptors rotation until his breakout third season. After that, he broke all the way out to Orlando, joining the Magic in 2000 to run with Grant Hill instead of running behind his cousin. Emerging for Vince's shadow, McGrady erupted in 2000, averaging almost 27 points per game and earning his first All-Star and All-NBA nods. In the next season, he and Grant Hill dragged the Magic to the playoffs where they met the Bucks in the first round. And that Bucks team had dudes with names like Big Dog, Skip to Malou, and Jesus. So yeah, Orlando got smoked, but T-Mac balled out. In Game 3, he told Milwaukee to hold this 42-point double-double in a performance that Bill Simmons called a superstar audition tape. Now, T-Mac might have auditioned for superstardom in 2000, but in 2001 is when he got the job. In the All-Star game that year, T-Mac caught Dirk Nowitzki slipping and threw an off-the-backboard lob to himself. When he jumped in the air and threw it down, by the time he landed, he was a certified sensation. But that success didn't exactly extend to his team. Over the next 4 years, due to bad injury luck and bad rosters, the Magic never made it past the first round in the playoffs. How bad was it? It was so bad that even though McGrady was averaging 28 points a game and won his second consecutive scoring title, Orlando ended with the worst record in the East. Something had to change, and the next season, it did. 2004 saw a blockbuster trade that sent Steve Francis to the Magic and T-Mac to the Houston Rockets to run with the only dude as talented and as injury-prone as him, Yao Ming. Also, that year saw one of the most memorable moments of McGrady's career when, en route to orchestrating a comeback win against the Spurs, he scored 13 points in the final 35 seconds of the game. To do it, McGrady turned his clutch gear up to 11 and broke off the handle. He hit 4 consecutive three-point daggers, one of which turned into a 4-point play, and the last of which being the game winner that struck home with just 2 seconds left to go. It was a historic highlight, and T-Mac had another one that year, all over Sean Bradley in the first round of the playoffs. But the Mavs got the last laugh and the right to advance. Once again, fate handed McGrady a swag bag full of highlights on his way out the door, but at least this time it felt different. When Yao and T-Mac were both on the court, there were glimpses of greatness, and the stage was set for the duo to truly emerge the following season. Unfortunately, that glimpse was more of a blink and you missed it, because McGrady only played 47 games that year due to injury, and that's the knock against Tracy McGrady. Starting with that season, injuries plagued him for the rest of his career. Between that, bad luck, and facing better teams in an era full of top-end talent, Tracy McGrady's legacy takes a hit. He never really got healthy for the rest of his stint with the Rockets, and the rest of his career afterwards is forgettable, so we're gonna forget it. Because of his injuries, he basically played for mediocre squads that never really won anything meaningful. In his career, T-Mac has won exactly one playoff series, and due to injuries, he didn't even play in that series. Despite his greatness, Tracy McGrady has never won a single playoff series when he's healthy. It was Tracy McGrady's decline in his final years that made people forget just how dominant of a Hall of Fame shooting guard he was at his peak. But at his best, T-Mac was nothing short of spectacular, a bridge between the eras, but the basketball gods are cruel. When he was healthy, he was something like a hybrid between Michael Jordan and Kevin Durant. His adjusted stats from 2000 to 07 have him at a ridiculous 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists per year. And that's good for one of the greatest runs of production in NBA history. He was a deadly slasher who could also body you from mid-range and from deep. And his 13-point one-man comeback might be the most clutch performance we've ever seen in the NBA. Tracy McGrady was a complete player, and like Kobe Bryant said, he had 0 weaknesses. He was a lucky break or two from turning a Hall of Fame career into a top 75 career of all time. So yeah, you can say his career was cut short. That is until you remember Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant, because they made it into the Hall after playing about 1,500 and 1,400 games respectively. But even with all the injuries, T-Mac did it in a little over 900. So maybe he had all the time he needed. If you like the content, hit that like and subscribe, then ring the bell and leave a comment. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching View the Right Thing. Peace.